Call meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier. Leach.
Here.
Lehman.
Here.
Menold.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have quorum.
You join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public hearings or presentations. Anyone in the public like to make a comment? Hearing none, the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting January 4th, 2020, and the approval of the bills. If we could have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have nothing tonight. Village Clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Chief of Police, Corporation Counsel.
One item tonight, Your Honor, which is ordinance number 21-32, an ordinance approving a cable television franchise to Comcast of Illinois/Indiana/Ohio LLC. I'd ask for motion on that with one minor typographical issue. In a definition section, there's a portion where it identifies who the grantee is, and it states it's Village of Morton instead of Comcast. So with that one change noted, I would ask for a motion.
I will make a motion to approve with changes noted.
Okay.
Second that.
Want to do any explanations?
I've reviewed the franchise agreement. It's generally consistent with what you have had in place with Comcast and relatively ordinary franchise agreement. So happy to answer questions.
Any questions or concerns? If not, call the roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Director of Public Works.
Yes, I have two items tonight, Your Honor. First, in front of you is item A, Resolution 19-21. This is a resolution authorizing agreement with Laura Daisy for mowing services.
Could we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Go ahead.
This would be a 2-year, so basically 2021 and 2022 at 2% increases each year. So next year it'd be $1,279 and change. Each time she mows, that's 15 locations throughout the village. Most of them are our facilities. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? If not, call the roll.
Lehman.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item B. I'd like to ask for approval to award our annual fuel contract to Ag Land FS Incorporated out of Tremont.
Could we have a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Yeah, so this is our annual fuel contract. We've been with Ag Land for quite some time. We did get, I mentioned you guys in an email, we did get some competition. I worked with Steve Cady from Cady Oil. Unfortunately, they did not meet our specifications this time. So I'm asking for approval of this contract with Ag Land, which with taxes would be $2.33 for unleaded, $2.405 for diesel, and $2.465 for diesel with winter additive. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions?
I'm just curious for my own knowledge, what is the specification that they weren't able to meet?
The biggest thing is we require biodiesel, which is B2, so we require 2% soy. What Steve could provide was B11, 11% soy. I learned more this past week than I've ever learned about fuel, but working with Steve Cady from Cady Oil and then John Poppenhouse from Ag Land, Talking to our mechanic and our former mechanic, they weren't comfortable. Obviously, I would have to either rebid or do something with the change. But at this point, I'll be honest, I'm kind of relying on Ryan Noss and Mike Ingold. They feel very comfortable with the B2. Out of courtesy to you guys, I do like the bidding, and courtesy to Steve Cady, I'm going to continue to review it with those guys. Maybe next time we look at, increasing that. I will say B20, which would be 20% soy. That would be like going green. That's the upper limit of biodiesel, where most experts say it doesn't cause issues. Obviously better emissions, stuff like that. Our guys are more concerned with that higher bio, with things gumming up. And I will say, talking to Ryan, ambulances is probably the biggest concern we have. Our fuel right now is perfection. It's very clean, clean fuel filter. So he's a little anxious even changing from the B2. So with that, I'd be glad to answer.
The soy additive is more expensive as you increase it?
I don't necessarily think so. I don't have a specific answer, but obviously his was B11 and was cheaper. I don't know if he was just being competitive, trying to get our service, but I don't know that it's that more expensive. I don't know, Brad, if you've been in that world a little bit.
I don't know. It's been too long.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure if that's cheaper or not. But like I said, B20 would be, like if you went B20, we would want to advertise that we've gone green. That is that upper. I think if we go bio, we go bio. That's kind of the discussion even with Agland and Katie. Like if you go bio, go B20. I'm just not sure our guys are that comfortable, so I would like to vet that out over this next year.
Yeah.
I know Agland's willing to do a presentation. He even said if you go that, you probably ought to do a presentation and have a discussion with your board just to make sure you know what that means.
I know the mechanics are pretty passionate about the increase of soy oil in it, but I mean, obviously people are doing it, but it's a different animal.
Yeah, so I think that's the fear. It's been a good thing. They're a little nervous about changing that. Maybe too much lubrication, maybe too much gumming up. I think that's some of the concern if we start adding too much.
Is there a way for us to experiment?
I think that would be the first step, is to maybe have John at Agland do a presentation. Let's see, possibly. I'm just not sure how much we would learn. I would have to defer to Ryan or the mechanic on
Well,
that.
that's why I was wondering if you could experiment, have the B11 use that, and then when a truck is serviced, not all of them,
Yeah,
but pick one.
then you would know.
And then he could give you his thought on that, I was wondering.
Sure, I think that's possible.
Greg, my question is in regards to like the bidding process. Is it the traditional type of bid that goes out for, so anyone can raise their hand and
Yes. Yeah,
and
I
these
mean,
are these the only two companies, or
there are specifications in there. We've had, I can't remember if it's Lozier or Yoder, one of those have bid
Yoder.
before. Agland's always gotten the bid. There are some specifics in there. I would say the largest item on our specification that probably rules out some is the proximity of their fuel. And I think that was always the fear, that they're at least close enough, within that 25-mile range to get fuel here when we need it, if that makes sense. We have a 10,000-gallon diesel. So that's probably the biggest item. Other than that, everybody's free to bid, but there is that in the specification that keeps it pretty much local to Peoria area.
was there more than these two companies that
No.
placed bids?
I send stuff to all of them. So I always send emails out to, Mansfield Oil. There's quite a few that I send emails out every time, make sure that and then we put it in the Journal Star for advertising.
Good.
So I'll get phone calls too. So.
And last but not least, is there any Morton companies that is there a Morton competitor?
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think there's anything in Morton where they've got fuel,
Mhm.
terminal to basically haul from.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? If not, call the roll.
Mennel,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
all?
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Zoning and Code Enforcement Officer?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Village Trustees, is there anybody with anything?
I just have one comment, Your Honor. I'd like to commend Director Loudermilk for, he fielded quite a few questions on Facebook and otherwise regarding the utility bill increases on the gas rates. There was quite a few questions on that, and I know last night at 10 p.m. and after, he was sending out messages on Facebook explaining to folks that had questions on their utility bill and answering, why kind of the rates went up. And I think that's, one person made a comment. He's like, "Oh, it's nice that our director of public works is on call 24 hours a day. At 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday evening that takes time to answer people's questions." I think he did a great job.
He was at the City
thank
Hall
you.
Sunday night doing it too.
Yeah.
The mayor caught me. The mayor caught me.
Yeah, I
there.
caught it.
So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. We do need a closed session tonight.
Closed session is requested for the purpose of discussing the purchase of real property for the use of the Village of Morton pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C5.
So if we could have a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to enter into closed session.
Second.
Call the roll.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Yep.